What's up, Trailmakers? In this video, I'm going to show you all of my watercraft that I use in the Stranded campaign. I'll show you how they work and why I made some of the choices I did when designing them. Okay guys, let's start with the build that evolved the most. This design made its way into practically every boat I've ever made in this game, the H-Wing. The model I leave the starter island in looks like this. Once I have the magnet, it gets an upgrade. And after the swamp, it reaches its final form. Unfortunately, there isn't much for it to do in its final form, but when you gotta go fast, the H-Wing is always ready. There aren't many fast boat designs in Trailmakers that can turn and remain stable at high speed. The H-Wing design maximizes the boat's stability while keeping its actual aerodynamic footprint to 4 blocks in the water. With a boat, how many blocks are in the water has a huge effect on top speed. Like most of my Stranded builds, it's made to be more stable with salvage on the magnet than without. The final model in Stranded looks like this. If you play on Xbox, you can probably find the first racing boat that evolved out of this design on the gallery. The final model utilizes every trick I have available to go fast, with the exception of glitches, since I had no idea how to use those in those days. The round aerodynamics replaces the wedges. I swap a few of the pontoon strut blocks with flat connectors to reduce drag, and the spiked wheel keeps me straight in the mud. And for the first time, I picked up a huge salvage block with this, and I didn't regret it. To be fair, I'm not floating here. The water is shallow enough that my wheels are actually on the ground. The point is, it's been years and I'm still pushing the limits of this boat. Stumbling across this design early in my experience with Trailmakers set the template for every boat I would make in the game. And after my obsession with dominating the Stranded campaign subsided, getting a racing model of this boat into the top 10 on Race Island became my next obsession. But that's a story for another video. Now for the subs. Frankly, this was the hardest build to make good. Getting a sub with wheels on it to go fast is no easy task. Add a couple of magnets and it's downright impossible. Frustratingly, I can't quite get this design back to where it was on Xbox. Maybe it's the changes in hinges over the years, I'm not sure. But the S1 Nemotron is as close I think as I will get to the original sub. I don't remember uploading it to the gallery, but it's worth a look. Now I almost gave up completely on the buoyancy blocks for this, but in the end I did manage to jam 2 of them in there. It's my personal policy not to complain about this game in videos, but those buoyancy blocks are making it very difficult right now. There are 2 in there, but I don't think they're necessary. I could probably get the same buoyancy from a few small pontoons for a fraction of the weight and headache. Nemo uses tank steering for yaw. The center engines are committed entirely to this single job. Just set one to go forward when you turn, and the other to go in reverse. Tank steering on land is a bit more complex. In its most basic form, you have a separate engine for the left and right wheels. This barely works and won't work at all at speed. I use a total of 4 Bulldog engines. 2 provide power to all 4 wheels at once, then a left and right engine provide the extra power for steering. It barely works slightly better. Roll is basic. Nothing really to show there. Pitch, however, my advice when making any sub is to have an elevator on the nose. When you're on the ocean floor attempting to pitch up, pushing the back end of your sub down won't work. You need the nose to independently pitch up or you will be stuck on the bottom. I use elevators on the nose and tail because of this. Now when it comes to the medium-sized underwater salvage, Sub-A-Dub acknowledges no equal. That doesn't mean there aren't any, it just means the sub has a really inflated ego. With only 5 blocks to deliver, this sub is highly specialized for a single task. I feel like how it works is pretty obvious. Loads of flotation, magnet in the center, tank steering in the water of course, standard steering on land. The pistons make the wheels go up and down, and lots of light because underwater is freaking dark and scary. This sub is obviously slow. To save time, I usually swap to a different vehicle if I have a long way to travel with the salvage. In the past, I played around with ideas for a sub to carry multiple blocks back at once, like Swampa Stompa but aquatic. They can work, but having an internal storage space in a sub makes it painfully slow. If I remember correctly, my best version did like 12 miles an hour underwater, and with my primary motivation being speed, work has stopped on that project. Alrighty, that concludes the sea portion of the Stranded build series. In the next one we take to the skies. I'll show you all the ways I get things done with no wheels on the ground or fins in the water. I learned to build planes and fly on this map. Honestly, I can't wait to tell you guys all about it. So click the thing so you don't miss it, Trailmaker. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.